Welcome back, Sethbling here, and today I want to show you a revision of the Super Mario World's credit warp. Now, if you'll recall, about like 8 months ago, I started doing this Super Mario World credits warp, where I would do all this complicated stuff in order to execute a glitch that basically played the credits without defeating Bowser. And it did that by actually writing code into the game and then executing that code by basically crashing in just the right way. And so what we've got here, and what I'm going to show you today, is a revision of that glitch, or a revision of the setup in order to achieve that glitch. And now this revision was created mostly by Mr. Cheese and Dots Are Cool. And the idea of the revision is that the route is a lot slower to do, but the trade-off is that it's a lot safer. What that means is, with the old credits warp route, it generally took about 1 to 200 tries to warp to credits a single time. Whereas with this one, if you don't mess up in any sort of major way, you can actually achieve the same goal basically every single time within about like 5 to 7 minutes. And so it's just much more reliable. It does require going into Yoshi's Island 3 here, which is a level that we did not enter in the world record route. So I want to kind of describe this route as I go through it. The first couple levels here are actually just pretty normal. All you have to do is get Fire Flower and get Yoshi. Now, it's important to have firepower because we're going to go to some weird places. The way that the power-up status works in Super Mario World is that Mario's power-up status is stored by a single byte in memory. If the value of that byte is 0, then he's small. If it's a 1, then he's big. 2, then he has a cape. And 3, then he has Fire Flower. What we're going to do is we're going to execute a glitch that modifies the power-up value to increase it beyond 3, which is not something you could normally do. But through the use of this glitch, we can do it. So here I'm grabbing a shell, and I'm trying to do what's called a block duplication glitch. And you do that by kicking a shell up at just the right coordinates on the screen. And basically the shell says, okay, I'm right here, and you should create whatever block you're supposed to create when the block gets hit. And where the shell actually is when that happens is one block above where the block's supposed to be, or it's to the side in this case. And so you actually get 2 Yoshis out of this Yoshi block. Now, one of them is invisible right now, but we'll see him in a moment. So when we grab this shell with the other Yoshi and then drop him off the level, it creates what's called a null sprite inside of Yoshi's mouth. Now, I have to get Yoshi onto just the right pixel on this platform and then spit the shell out at just the right time, or the null sprite out at just the right time. And here we have power-up state number 4. Like I was talking about, we increment the power-up state each time we do this. And so Mario is kind of like red right now, and he does some weird stuff. You'll notice sometimes he just like goes sideways. It's very glitchy. Alright, I was able to get the block duplication glitch very quickly this time. In order to complete this route, we have to do the power-up incrementation glitch 3 times. So I want to come back in this level 3 times. We'll get 3 different glitched Mario states. Luckily, the second and third times were pretty good in this run. They were pretty quick. So there's the second try, and then the third try, you'll see here. Now, the reason that we need to change Mario's power-up state is that whenever Mario gets a power-up, something like a mushroom or a star or a 1-up, the game runs code that's dependent on Mario's power-up state. So for instance, if you get a mushroom and you're already big, then the mushroom is supposed to go into the item box, whereas if you get a mushroom and you're small, then that makes you big. So we exploit that by basically causing the game to execute code based on this power-up status number 6, which basically runs undefined code. And so it happens to go to a portion of memory that we can manipulate. And so what we do, this part of the run is very similar to the credits warp from the world record attempt, from the world record attempts that we were doing. You have to basically step on all these shells and put them all in the pixel perfect X coordinate when they get spit out of Yoshi's mouth. So you'll see me leaning in really close to the screen here as I attempt to line up Yoshi's feet with certain pixels on the grassy platform here. And as I do that, I'm spitting out the shells at pixel perfect X coordinates, which is actually writing code to portions of the game's RAM. Now, when we execute the glitch by eating a power-up as power-up status number 6 Mario, we've manipulated it in just the right way so that the game will run this code that I'm setting up with these shells that basically tell the game to play the credits. So this is the last shell that needs to be placed. There's 6 in total. And then the last thing to do is scroll the screen to the left to reset the screen position. The Mario needs to be at a very specific, the camera needs to be a very specific screen position when Mario gets the power up for technical reasons, but if it's right, and I'm checking that it's right, then we're good. Now on the second controller on a multi-tap, I have to press L down, select Y and B all at the same time. And then when I collect the power up, it works. We've warped to the credits. We have the thank you screen here, and we've quote unquote beat the game. So this is the very similar result to what happens with the old world record credits warp setup. Yeah, but again, the main difference is every step along the way we can always revise what we're doing. If we press start and we think we're in the wrong position, we can either just start select to restart the level, or we can adjust our position until we think it's right. There's only a couple places that you can really mess up pretty bad. If you ever get hit, that's pretty bad because you lose your power-up status and you have to do that all over again. Also, it's pretty hard to scroll the screen into the correct position when you get the 1-up at the very end, because the 1-up is coming at you and you don't really have a lot of time to get into the correct position. That's probably the most time-constrained part. But overall, you can redo anything you need to redo, and there's just no real difficult execution glitches or tricks or anything. So the point of this run is that in, say, something like a speedrun marathon like AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick, you could have this as one of the races or speedruns that you do, because you know that you're going to get it every time rather than having like a 1 in 150 chance that it'll actually work. And so that's the goal, kind of. Well, it's one of the goals, is to have this in that marathon. So that's why I've been working on it. So hopefully you learned some interesting things about Super Mario World. This is definitely a very glitchy run. That's about it. Thanks for watching.